It's The Local Show on News Radio 570 WSYR, a service of Geddes Federal Savings and Loan and Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoe Advertising. Now, your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to the 2022 Just Before Christmas edition of The Local Show. I'm your host, Tom Soccocio Jr., along with my friend and co-host, Steve Roberts. On The Local Show, we have conversations about local business with business owners, CEOs, CFOs, entrepreneurs, civic organizations, nonprofits, business advocates, and other business-friendly organizations. We talk about how they got into business and why they do business right here in Syracuse, New York, and where their businesses might be going in the future. You will hear all about their successes, their challenges, opportunities, marketing, and advertising. We're broadcasting from the Zoe Advertising Studios, sponsored by Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. Happy weekend to Steve. How are you, Steve?
I'm all right for being me. You know when somebody asks that and I answer that way, they always look at me like, oh, okay. I get it. It's one of those things.
People always cock their head to the side and wonder what you said.
Yeah,
so
that's what does that mean?
Nothing new. You're like either people view you as very, very smart or my gosh, where did he come from?
What did that? Yes, it's the same way when I meet somebody who's like, this is my first wife, Judy, and they go, oh, what and they go, oh, it was a joke. Yeah, 35 years. This is it. We're gonna make it one. So
you like to throw them off a little bit.
It does. They're like, oh, I get it. That was a joke.
Yeah, fun stuff. Well, we got a great show for you, folks. Stick around. We're just, is it only a week away from the holiday?
I know. I got to start thinking about Christmas shopping for my wife, the only person I buy for. So.
You might want to do that. Hey, Dr. Nicole Anzalone is coming up first, owner of Syracuse Hearing Solutions. We'll talk with Dan Hartnett. He's the owner of Berkshire Hathaway Home Services. Rob O'Connor stops by with a buddy. Rob is the president of Right Coast Incorporated. He's going to talk with us about his esports stuff that's happening, and that's with his friend Matt Guernsey, who's the co-founder of Elite Esports Organization. And then we got Greg Lancette. He's the president of New York Pipe Trades Association. Charlie Van Patten stops by, owner of Mattress Makers. Natasha Schmidt is the co-owner of Rubberstone, New York. And then Dr. Tina Chi, the owner of Up Design Primary Care. All on the Local Show today. We do encourage you to stick around. Why don't you bake a pie or bake a cake or something?
Drop it off, too.
While you're listening. I've been asking my wife about yellow cake with a chocolate frosting. I've had a hankering for that.
That sounds good. Do you like German chocolate frosting?
Oh, I don't care. Yeah, as long as it's chocolate.
The coconut in it? Oh, that's the best.
Yeah. All good stuff. Dr. Nicole Anzalone, how are you this morning?
I'm doing very well. Thank you, Tom.
Excellent. Well, it's great to see you and, of course, hear you. We always say that. Nicole, give people a little background of yourself, how you got to be an audiologist.
Sure. So I started out actually studying neuroscience. And I worked at the Institute for Sensory Research. I went to Syracuse University for my master's in neuroscience, then my doctorate in audiology because we studied ears, mostly eyes and all different other senses too. But I was mostly interested
settled on
in
the ears. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. They're so interesting. So then I opened up a practice and, to help patients and help them hear, help them communicate, hearing, balance, ear to brain. We do it all.
All that. That's great. Now, you're not originally from Syracuse. You're from downstate.
Yes, I'm from the Bronx.
You don't sound like that. I'm from the Bronx, downstate. You don't
She's
sound
educated.
Like it.
She's an educated
There's
woman.
educated people that sound like that. So how did you get that out of you?
Oh, no, I've probably been up here too long.
Right. There you go. So one of the things that you do at your practice is, being a doctor, of course, you are able to look at things medically as it relates to the ear, not just prescribe a hearing aid or a hearing amplifier or something like that. How does your practice deal with balance in the ear? You mentioned that really quickly there.
Yeah, so, I'm not a medical doctor. I'm a doctor of audiology, so
Gotcha.
It's not an MD, but we look at hearing loss and balance your ear actually is, it controls your balance. So we look at, again, ear to brain. Basically, if someone's dizzy, it could be ear related. Your ears act as a little gyroscope, and if there's a problem with your ear, it could cause severe vertigo. And that's detrimental to especially the elderly, because as we age, our ears change, our balance system changes, our reflexes aren't as fast, so that could lead to increased risk of falling and loss of independence and sometimes mortality. So it's very important to look at the ear. We diagnose ear-related balance problems now.
No, you're getting some big shot certification for the Balance Club or something. Tell us about that. We were talking about it earlier this week. Explain that to me.
So we are undergoing special training by the American Institute of Balance. And we're going to be certified as a center for specialty care. So we look at what I call the ABCs. We look at the auditory system, we look at the balance system, and cognition, all related to ear and hearing as well. So it's all related, and this certification is great because we're being trained by the best of the best. This is a world-class center. And one of the founders, he actually rehabilitates pilots and astronauts when they come back from their missions.
Wow.
As you can imagine, their whole sense of gravity changes.
Sure.
So they need rehabilitation.
Tom goes over a bridge and the same thing happens.
Yes, it happens to me. My whole sense of reality goes away. Wow.
Yeah, well, motion sickness. A lot of people get motion sickness from sometimes even walking down an aisle, and that is ear related.
You ever get car sick, Tom?
No, I never had that problem. No.
Like if I sit in the back of of in a van or something.
Yeah.
It gets. If I'm in front, and it must have to do with the whole. You know more about this than I do. I'm usually okay, but if I'm like in the back,
I get you, huh?
Yeah, and it's all ear related. Is what you're saying?
Yeah. So there's whenever there's a latency difference between your visual system and your balance system as part of your ear, that could cause this discrepancy in your system.
Yeah.
Is there a pill for that? Because Tom wants to know.
I mean, sometimes you might be prescribed meclizine or Dramamine or something like that, but that's just. It's kind of like a Band-Aid,
Right.
but you can actually undergo this whole rehabilitation process to help your brain compensate for that imbalance.
Mm-hmm. If people go shopping for hearing aids and they don't come to you, which I don't advise, but if they do, how can they tell the difference between just a standard amplifier and a real hearing aid that's prescribed?
Great question.
Yeah, that's a really good question. So when I would say in simple terms, if you see an audiologist and get your hearing aids prescribed to your hearing loss, so basically you undergo a hearing test, the audiologist has an audiogram and your hearing aids are prescribed to that audiogram, that makes it a prescription hearing aid. So it's more fine-tuned for you and your hearing loss specifically and your needs. If it's over the counter, you're not getting tested, you don't know what your hearing's like, and you just buy this amplifier, it's an amplifier.
So, Tom, it'd be like going to the pharmacy and going, take one of these versus going to the doctor and getting the right thing.
Yeah, sure. Makes sense. So I encourage everyone to get out there and talk with Dr. Nicole Anzalone and her team. You got a wonderful team over there, too. She's the owner of Syracuse Hearing Solutions. You always do a great job, and thank you so much for stopping by again.
Thank you for inviting me.
All right. Have a great rest of the day. Coming up next, we're going to talk with Dan Hartnett. He's the owner of Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, right here on The Local Show on 570 WSYR.
Welcome back to The Local Show, a service of Gettys Federal Savings and Loan and Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show, locally produced by Zoe Advertising. Now, here are your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Welcome back and welcome in. You are in holiday mode with Tom and Steve. We're broadcasting from the Zoe Advertising Studio, sponsored by Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. And Steve, we're just going nuts at the house. Packages coming in from everywhere.
Are you paying
I've
for
got
all
Amazon? I don't know. Kelly runs the budget.
I'm aware of that. Yeah. You know
And
what?
Thank goodness she does.
That's one less thing to cloud your brain, right?
Yeah. Wow.
You don't
I
have
can't
to deal
do
with that.
You know, before I met Kelly, I couldn't even balance my checkbook.
Do you
I
balance
couldn't-
it now, Tom?
No,
No,
gosh,
she
I haven't
does.
seen a checkbook in 100 years.
Yeah,
and she's
no, wasn't
been a
she your
bank
intern?
manager. And she was my intern at the radio station. Paid internship,
Yeah,
of course.
you tee that up really high. When I met Kelly, it's just what I do.
Oh gosh, yeah, but she was just great. She's wonderful at the banking industry, and being in real estate too. She just does a fantastic job dotting I's and crossing T's. But a lot of people come in, and I'm not unique. There are folks
You're unique, Tom. Just to be clear.
Yeah, that's eunuch for those of you keeping up with things. She helps people straighten out their finances. She'll have elderly people who can't quite keep the book straight, and then she has business people, same thing. So she has to do that all day long.
We qualify as elderly people now, Tom, right?
I'm in. Where do I sign? I'll take an hour or two.
Oh, good golly. So tell us a little bit about Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. A lot of people are borrowing off their home, the equity, and putting in like a new basement over
All
the
of those
winter.
things, right? All
Yeah.
of those things. And it's a good deal, right?
Sure.
It's local. Geddes, they are just rocking, and people are doing that. They're putting in the kitchens, and they're putting in maybe a rubber stone in the
Yeah,
basement.
putting all that
and
rubber stone in,
finishing
sure.
that down. But people are still getting it at Geddes. They do that. Geddes does it so well. I had some time last week to spend with some of the folks there, and yeah, they're just amazing. They're just amazing. And what is happening is people are putting money into the savings, the money market.
Yes, there's those two
and the
CDs,
CDs
yep.
and things, because the market's the market.
Right, yeah.
But you get a guaranteed decent return. You don't have to risk it. So people are doing that. It's right here in town.
The point is you can talk to somebody,
Talk
right?
to some right over there at Geddes, GeddesFederalSavingsAndLoan.com, Tom.
All right. It's our pleasure to have Daniel Hartnett back on the show with us. He is the owner of Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, Realtor. You can see them online at BHHSCNYRealty.com. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. How are you, Dan?
I'm living the dream. Doing well, thank you.
Very good.
Pleasure to be here.
Well, thank you for coming back. We're very picky about the type of real estate people we have on, and we picked you because
All evidence to the contrary.
right. You are a dapper, educated, nice person all the way around first, and then you're a realtor. So tell us a little bit about your background. How'd you get into this business?
Well, I got in this business in 1982.
Great
Interest
year.
rates were insane,
Yeah,
about 18%. I worked for the newspaper at the time,
Yeah.
and I wanted to get into the real estate business and purchase some of my own income property, which I had done a little bit of that. But so I worked for Gallinger Real Estate for 15 years.
They were pretty big around these parts, weren't they?
They were number one at the time.
Yeah.
So is the
Gallinger.
newspaper, Tom.
Right.
So was reading. Yeah, that was.
Exactly. So I worked for Gallinger for 15 years, and then I left and I met a guy by the name of Tom Thielen, who just opened a real estate company, and I was with him for quite some time until 2010. So then I wound up buying the company and it was only 8 months old when I bought it. So they had about 30 agents, and today we have 8 offices and just shy of 200 agents.
Good golly, that's a
It's
lot.
been a fun ride.
Serious question. Do you ever forget their name? Like you see an agent, like, hi, what's the name? They work for me. I should know this person's name. 200 is a lot of folks to keep track
Yeah.
of.
It is, but it's they're wonderful, wonderful agents. They do a great job. We don't have a lot of big egos. We
Right.
have great,
That's great.
worker bees and friendly. It's
Where
like,
are the
it's like a
offices?
family.
Yeah, where are the offices located?
We go north as far as Watertown. We've got Oswego, Skinny Atlas, Camillus, North Syracuse, Cicero, Fayetteville. We just have a new office in Fayetteville. Cazenovia, and Utica.
Oh my goodness!
I think that's 8. I'm
Yeah.
on my way to Utica when I'm done.
It was a trick question. I just wanted to see if you knew.
Yeah, well, you asked me about the names of the agents.
Yeah.
Do I remember where the offices are?
All right, go ahead and name all 200.
That would be
agents. Wait.
that would be a good start to know where the offices are, even before you talk about the
Yeah.
agents. So you've seen a lot of different trends in real estate: the ups, the downs, the good, the bad, the ugly. What do you see right now happening?
Well, this is going to be an interesting time. We're seeing some inflation, which can be great. We have seen prices go up, so people have gained appreciation in their investment in their homes, which is wonderful. Unfortunately, we've seen appreciation or increase in rental. So if you're paying for a rental apartment, it's tough to build equity for yourself. So you have a down payment. That's the tough part. That's where Geddes comes in. They've got some great
great programs.
Yeah, they do. They absolutely do.
So they're very helpful. But it's tough to save enough. And these kids, I feel bad for the kids that are coming out trying to buy their first home, and they've got student loans.
Oh yeah.
And the prices are going up, and now interest rates are going up. But
what do you say to What do you say to someone who's like, you know what? I have the internet. Why do I need a realtor? I'm just gonna go solo and
there's a lot of that these days. You know, it's scary.
It's difficult. Actually, the inventory is pretty low right now, so it's really difficult to stay on top of what's coming on the market. Agents have kind of a backlog of people that they're working with, buyers. Yeah. So as soon as something comes up, they're really on it. And it's great to get advice as to neighborhoods and walkability and
right. So are
travel.
You suggesting if someone's not working with an agent, they're not seeing everything and things are gone before they even get anywhere? Is that what you're kind of saying?
Well, I would say that it certainly isn't the best way to go. You want to be right on top of things, because it is difficult at this point to be everything available.
Yeah.
You know.
On the heels of that question, what is the difference between a realtor and somebody who's part of the National Board of or an agent? Just an agent and a board of realtors person.
I think I know where you're going.
Yeah.
What's the
Good,
difference?
I'm glad someone knows.
Direct me.
What's the difference between a licensed real estate salesperson and a realtor?
Yeah.
Now, a realtor is a member of the National, State, and Local Association of Realtors.
Gotcha, right.
And so they're bound to a code of ethics, a professional standard, so that if something were to go wrong and someone felt as though they were wronged somehow, you could file a grievance with the board, and they would be held accountable, which is a great process.
Excellent. And all your people are probably...
everyone that we have with Berkshire Hathaway is a realtor.
So there's more integrity? Is that okay to say, or more accountability?
More accountability would be absolute, no question there. You know that you have a standard that you have to live up to. Clearly.
That sounds good.
Right. Real quick, do people still get home inspections, or are things so quick that they don't have time to do that?
Well, we encourage it, and sometimes, recently in the last 6 months, years, there could easily be 10, 15 offers on a house, and sometimes they say, well, we'll pass on the home inspection. And if that were to happen, I would clearly suggest they get a home warranty of some kind.
Gotcha.
There you go.
All right. That's Daniel Hartnett right there. Pushes integrity, and all his people do. So get involved with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services if you're out there even looking for a home, or you're looking to sell your own home. BHHSCNYRealty.com. Thank you, Dan, and you have a great rest of the day.
My pleasure. Thank you. Merry Christmas, guys.
Merry Christmas. Yes. Okay, Rob O'Connor's coming up next. He's the president of Right Coast Incorporated, and we'll talk to him about his esports initiatives. All coming up on the local show on 570 WSYR.
Welcome back to The Local Show, a service of Geddes Federal Savings and Loan and Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show, locally produced by Zoe Advertising. Now, here are your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Back into it and back at it again. You've got The Local Show with Tom and Steve, broadcasting from the Zoe Advertising Studio, sponsored by Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Geddes Federal Savings and Loan, and also on YouTube. at Zoe Advertising. What's that number? There was that special that you can look us up, of course, on YouTube, but I got the exact
I want to watch you look
thingy.
for the number. I watch you struggle
it's right
through.
here.
I'll
It's
watch.
at the symbol, Zoe Advertising 3809. So that's all. If you put that directly into your browser, it'll take you to the page.
Or you can put Zoe Advertising on YouTube, and they go, there they are.
Well,
so
you
either
have
way.
to go looking around for that, too.
Maybe a little. There's another Zoe Advertising, Tom.
No, I didn't know that.
Yes, it's in Chennai, India.
Very nice.
And coincidentally, I've been to Chennai, India.
Really?
That
Yes.
is coincidental.
So you started a branch out there.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah. So
Global.
interesting. Because I did look it up. Here's what I'm like, where is it? And they went, India. Look at it. I go, Chennai. I got friends. I do have friends in Chennai, India.
Yeah.
So I don't know that they're a threat, Tom. I think we're okay.
Good.
They don't have you.
I don't know.
have
I
you.
get phone calls from them all the time. At least they sound like they're from India.
Very interesting. Well, on this segment, we're going to be talking with Rob O'Connor. It's great to have him back. He's the president of Right Coast Incorporated. He brings you the Syracuse Nationals. And he's teamed up with Matt Guernsey. And Matt Guernsey is the founder of Elite Esports organization. We'll talk about that as well. Rob, how are you?
Great, man.
Great. So, are you decompressed yet from the show? From the Nationals?
Yeah. I mean, right after the show is over, after the Nationals over, they kind of fall off a cliff.
Yeah.
You know, the adrenaline cliff.
Right. Sure.
And after a few weeks, I'm ready to get right back at it. So,
Yeah. And you had some other events too. What other events did you have with Right Coast?
We do a beer fest
Okay.
and an indoor motocross race over at the fairgrounds. And we did a couple other smaller events, but we're, post-COVID, we're just gearing all that stuff back up.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
So then you have this esports initiative that we started to touch on the last time you were on the show.
Yeah.
So tell us first, about that, and then how that dovetails with this Matt Guernsey. Am I saying his name right?
Yeah, Matt Guernsey.
Okay,
Yep. Matt owns a large IT firm in town, so he's the tech side of things, and I'm the event side of things. So we're co-founders of Elite Gaming, and we're opening up a permanent facility in the Most Museum. We're taking over about 12,000 square feet inside the Most Museum.
Where are they putting it in there?
So if you're looking at the Most Museum, you're walking up to the main entrance. There's an area over to the far right. You'll see some big metal iron gates there.
Okay.
It used to be actually the horse stables back when the armory was in operation. So they've used it recently. It's where the old planetarium was, where they projected the solar systems on the roof.
Right.
And they use it for like a separate area for like a cafeteria when schools come in and things like that. And there's a little classroom there. So we're taking over that whole space. But like I said, about 12,000 square feet. And we're setting it up as an esports arena and gaming academy.
So we should probably define what kind of gaming you're talking about, because some people might be thinking,
Oh, gambling, yeah.
can I go gamble on the Bills or something?
Right.
Only when you invest in it. Is it so
So it's esports is basically an acronym for competitive video gaming.
Okay.
So we're going to do competitive, non-competitive video gaming there. We have gaming PCs set up in there. We have consoles, Xboxes, PlayStation, Switches, things like that. And so people can come in and play games. We'll also hold tournaments in leagues, much like a Little League or a bowling league or a golf league.
Wow,
You come in and play like Fortnite League or Call of Duty League. Come in on every Tuesday at 6 o'clock, play for 3 hours, and then your score accumulates, and whoever has the highest score at the end of the 8-week league wins.
are you doing it there, or can you do it remotely? I mean,
No, we're doing it all right there. So we're going to have, like I said, in that 12,000 square feet, we'll have the gaming space, but we'll also have lounges. We're going to build a bar in there, so you can come, and we're going to build a really cool place to hang out.
So the Museum of Science and Technology, just to bring this around,
Right.
is e-gaming. And
Esports.
Esports.
Don't say e-gaming.
Oh, sorry. I did not say there back. Esports. Gee, I did it again. In a bar.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, we're completely separate from the Most. We're renters at the Most.
Okay. Oh,
so we have our
there
own
we go.
space.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
So we're doing events with the Most. When it makes sense. Like we were part of Tap Into the Most that they do the fundraiser. We had some of our gaming PCs open, and people come in and jammed on the games for a little bit. But when we do separate events, there's literally a garage door. We can put down or up. This separates us from the most. So when we do our own events, we just slide that garage door down. We have our own entrance. We have our own bathrooms. We have our own facility, pretty much.
So
all of us in this room, have kids from their middle 20s downward, right? So we're kind of all familiar with esports and what goes on there. But there might be some people in the audience who just don't understand esports and the amount of money that's in the industry. And can you make a living being an esports person?
Yeah, 100%. I'm glad you brought that up because that's more than half of what we're doing. That's why we call it Elite Sports, Esports Arena and Gaming Academy, because the careers in the gaming industry are massive. There's hundreds of them, and they're all different things. A lot of people think it's just like a programmer in the basement or in a dark room in an office building.
You mean it's not?
Yeah, well, it is. They do that, but there's graphic designers, there's video producers, there's motion capture people, there's voiceover, yeah, voice actors, exactly, marketing, all sorts of stuff that goes into video games. The analogy I use is. When you watch a movie, you see the movie stars on the screen. When the movie's over with, the credits roll. Those are all the people that make the movie happen. Yeah. The gaming industry is exactly the same way. There's all these people behind the scenes that make the gaming happen and make the game happen.
But there's like professional gamers too.
There's 100%.
Yeah. So explain that.
So there's professional teams. They travel all over the world to compete in very specific games. So one team might be just a Fortnite team. One team might be a Call of Duty League team. And it's massive. The gaming industry is bigger than the movie and music industries combined.
No kidding.
Yep. It's
that big at this point.
It's almost a $250 billion industry worldwide.
So that whole, hey kids, hey you guys, go do your homework. You're not going to make a living playing video games, so shut that thing off and get back to school.
Right.
Maybe
mom and dad. Really? We've had a lot of schools that have come in, high schools that come in, and we give them a tour. We talk to the superintendents. They are now starting esports programs in the schools because they see a need for it. But what we're going to do at the academy, at the arena, is bring in experts in certain fields like graphic design. There's a really cool piece of software now called Unreal Engine that a lot of the software developers use.
My son's on that all the time.
Yep. So you're familiar with it.
What does it do?
So it's 3D modeling for video games and movies. And what we're teaching them, a lot of it translates to other industries too, like the TV and movie industry.
Yes.
So
CGI type stuff.
Exactly. Yep. So we're going to be teaching, we're going to have classes, we're going to have instructors there so kids can come down through their schools and through BOCES. We're actually working with BOCES. They can come down and learn all this stuff, get stackable credentials so they can either pursue higher ed or go right into the job market.
Here in Syracuse, Tom.
Here in Syracuse.
Yep.
Well, we're going to talk more about this if you don't mind sticking around.
Absolutely.
I'd like to dive in. That Unreal Engine, though, Nicholas had this Unreal Engine challenge video clip where they were challenging you to see if this was reality versus what they created on the Unreal Engine.
Oh, wow.
And
incredible.
you could barely tell the difference.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
it
amazing.
is. So esports and everything to do with gaming. We're going to talk more with Rob O'Connor, who is the president of Right Coast Incorporated, and he'll be with us right here on the local show. So stick around. We're going to continue that conversation coming up next.
Welcome back to The Local Show, a service of Gettys Federal Savings and Loan and Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show, locally produced by Zoe Advertising. Now, here are your hosts, Tom and Steve.
And we are back. Happy holidays, everybody. Hope you're enjoying yourselves. Hard to believe that we're passing cookies and watering the poinsettias.
Did you get
and
some
here
of
we
those
are.
cinnamon rolls that Lori made in the office?
Yes, yeah, they're very good.
Oh my gosh.
Made my day.
Did it really?
Very sweet. No, not really.
Okay.
But
It was good. I don't know if it made my day.
yes, they're very good. I try to stay away from those sweets in the morning, but if somebody puts them right in front of my face, I'm not going to give it up.
You
You
load
can't
them
help
up.
it.
So you load them up at night is what you're telling me.
No, not even at night. I try not to eat any of that crap anymore. But anyway, we've been talking with Rob O'Connor. He's the president of Right Coast Incorporated. He brings you the Syracuse Nationals, among other things, over at the New York State Fairgrounds, and he's teamed up with Matt Guernsey, and they're both co-founders of Elite Esports Organization right here in Syracuse, New York. You know, Rob, for creative content, which is, you know, what I do for a living, from voiceover to video production and audio production and all that, at my home studio, I had to get a new machine this year. So I opted for the brand new Alienware X17R2, and it's got the 3080 Ti card in it for the
I bet
GPU.
that works well right out of the gate. Didn't
It was
Tom?
awesome with an i9 processor. And I've had it back at the shop 3 times already. You know, you think they could get their act together, the Alienware.
God.
And I got pro support, but still.
Really?
Yeah, you know, technology is technology no matter what you do.
Right.
Now, I push the machine hard. You know, I've got all the supercalifragilistic stuff on it and all that. But, I mean, that's become the norm, you know, and I've had to go online just to learn more about things. So I've gotten more into gamers optimizing machines.
Yes.
So I've gotten to know some of these gamers. Now, Tim the Tap Man is right here from Syracuse, New York.
Yeah.
He actually goes to my buddy's church, or went to my buddy's
Tim the
church.
what? Who is this? I know nothing.
Yeah, tell Steve who Tim the Tap Man is.
Yeah, so Tim the Tap Man is a local guy. He was local up until about a year ago. He lived right over in Cicero. He started out doing Twitch and YouTube videos in his closet in his house.
Absolutely.
Playing video games. And he had the right personality, hit it at the right time. He has become one of the largest streamers in the world right now.
And he's a millionaire.
Oh,
Yeah,
you
easily.
say that singular. He's multiple.
So what does he do?
He streams video games.
Of
himself
So
playing
I
the
play a
games.
game, everybody watches, and I make zillions
And
of
he
dollars.
comments on it.
So there's a camera, just like you guys have here, facing him. He superimposed himself in the corner, and he plays all sorts of video games, mostly Call of Duty.
Right.
But
And people, other high-profile gamers, will game with him.
Correct.
And then they comment.
Is he funny, or what's the deal?
he's just got the right personality. He says the right things, and he connects with the gamers.
Got a ton of tattoos. My uncle Gary, his daughter Sheena, my cousin, first cousin, is married to Matt Teska. And Matt owns the Artisan Tattoo place, and he does all the tattoos for Tim the Tap Man. So,
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, Tim just signed an exclusive deal with YouTube, so tell me how much he's worth now.
yeah. Wow. Isn't that incredible?
Yeah.
So it's $1 billion industry. And you thought one day, was it because your kids were playing, or do you game?
I grew up gaming. I grew up gaming with my boys, and Matt grew up gaming. It's just in my DNA, I guess. I've always been interested in it, and being in the event business, you always got to keep your eye on the next thing.
Yeah, sure.
And I've had my eye on esports for a number of years now, but in the last 4 or 5 years, or 8 years, I'd say, it's become very prolific. And with the popularity of the streamers on YouTube and Twitch and things like that, I mean, those guys now they're like the Michael Jordan and Derek Jeter for gamers. Like Tim the Tap Man and Ninja.
Oh, yeah, Ninja,
they're like the superstars.
This train left without me, Tom. You lost me at Galaga.
So
it took a turn. I don't know.
I had a dad come up to me and tell me a story. He goes, I asked my son one day. He's sitting there watching this guy play Fortnite or whatever like that on YouTube, and his dad goes to his son, "Why are you watching this guy play? You literally have an Xbox right here. You can play that game.
You should
all
be
day
playing, yourself."
Yeah. And the kid goes, "Well, why do you watch football? Why do you watch baseball?"
Yeah.
Well, because they're pro athletes and they're really good at it. He goes, "That's exactly why I watch these guys, because I learned something from them, and they're good. They're better at the game than I am, so I'm learning something from them, and it's entertaining."
So this comes full circle. How does this affect the economy locally with what you're doing down at the rented space at the most?
Yeah, so we're going to give kids the opportunity to learn how to do any aspect of the gaming industry, whether they want to be a streamer, a pro player, or work behind the scenes doing like voiceovers and graphic design. We're going to have a full production studio there. So we're going to be streaming out to the whole world from that facility when we hold events there. We'll have a caster desk, so we'll have guys doing shoutcasting there. So we're
what's the shoutcasting? Help us out with that.
So it's just like you watch the NFL game on ESPN. You have two guys at the desk talking about the game and the
doing
players.
Color. We used to call that color.
Color.
Yeah. Commentary.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. So you have two guys talking about two people, I should say, talking about the game. And they treat it, the production value is right up there with any production that you would see. And it's just incredible. And so we're going to teach kids how to do all that stuff so now they can get exposed to the different types of careers, decide what they're passionate about, and then pursue that.
I'm so happy you're doing this because I think that there is a warped perception for some kids. They think that it's all so easy, and it isn't. My son downloaded, that Unreal Engine, and he said to me, "Dad, how do you work this thing?" I said, "Buddy, it would take me hours and hours to really, dive into that.
Yeah.
This is major software. It is not something that you can just be a cotton-headed ninny muggins and start doing stuff.
Right. Yeah, you need instruction and you need certifications to do that. So we're going to provide all that for kids.
What's the timeline? What's the ramp? Tell us when. How's this working?
So we're doing some soft opening events later this month. And then we'll be swinging open the doors after the first of the year.
Ooh.
Yep. Yep. So we're frantically building and buying all sorts of equipment, not Alienware, but a lot of the same sort of stuff, and a lot of the same stuff you have here in the studio we'll be using down there as well. So and what's great is a lot of the high schools have esports programs that they're started up, and we'd like to take a little bit of credit for that because we've had some superintendents down there. They kind of come in with their arms crossed. Saying, okay, tell me what this e-gaming thing is. Tell me what this e-gaming thing is. And then when we kind of give them the rundown of what the gaming industry is all about and the careers that are available, they literally go back, get approved by the school board to start an esports program.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Yep.
Let us know how we can help out. And I'd love to come over there for free initially until I really up my pay scale for you. But I'd love to talk to a group of kids about voiceover and character voices and how to get into a character and all that. So
that's exactly what we're going to be doing. Yeah, for sure.
I love that stuff.
So you had jotted down the website, elitegaming.gg.
.gg. Yep.
So there's info there now that people can see things because this is brand new to so many folks.
It is. Really
and my eyes are glassing over a little bit here.
Yeah.
Because I thought, today you'd be talking about the Nationals, real cars. No. What's the day of the show, the Nationals car show this year?
July 14th, 15th, and 16th in 2023.
So we got the same guy doing all these things. I think it's exciting, Tom.
Yeah, and that's great. Good on you for keeping an open mind. And, you're no spring chicken anymore. And I'm proud of you that you keep this stuff going.
Yeah.
That's Rob O'Connor right there, president of Right Coast Incorporated, along with his friend Matt Guernsey, who is the co-founder of Elite Esports organization right here in Syracuse, New York. You have a wonderful Christmas.
Thank you. You as well. It's a pleasure seeing you guys.
Maybe you'll get an Alienware under your tree. You never know. People are like, what's Alienware? What's he keep talking about? Anyway, so you come right back to us, folks, because hour number 2 is going to be starting up. We're going to have conversations with Greg Lancette. He's the president at New York State Pipe Traders Association. There's another big acronym too, but we'll get into that later. Charlie Van Patten, owner of Mattress Makers. Natasha Schmidt is the co-owner of Rubberstone New York. And then we'll wrap things up with Dr. Tina Chi, owner of Up Design Primary Care. Stick around. Hour number 2 starting up real soon.
It's The Local Show on News Radio 570 WSYR, a service of Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Gettys Federal Savings and Loan. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoe Advertising. Now, your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Welcome back and welcome in. This is hour number 2 of The Local Show. Get ready for some engaging interviews with Greg Lancette. He's the president at New York State Pipe Trade Association and a bunch of other things. So I will go through that when we start talking to him. Charlie Van Patten stops by. He's the owner of Mattress Makers. Natasha Schmidt, co-owner of Rubberstone New York. And then Dr. Tina Chi is the owner of Up Design Primary Care. We're broadcasting broadcasting from the Zoe Advertising Studios, sponsored by Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. You all strapped in for hour number 2, Steve?
How'd you know they used to strap me in, Tom, when I was a kid?
Well,
how did you know that?
I talked to Dr. Chi, who is your primary now.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting. I want to get more scoop on you.
It always surprises people when I say that. Not at all.
You're putting your Ritalin in your coffee, so she probably prescribed
Whatever
that.
it takes.
to keep you focused, right? All right, here's a man who's been focused on a lot of things and obviously very popular because he's got some big titles. It's Greg Lancette. So, Greg, I have you down as president of the Central Northern New York Building and Construction Trades Council.
Yeah, that's a mouthful, Tom.
Yeah,
Holy smokes.
Golly, I'm going to have to get
really
overtime.
important.
Yeah. Well, you look fit and in shape and all that. What's your background? What's your professional and educational background?
So by trade, a year out of high school, I applied and I was accepted into the Plumbers and Steamfitters Apprenticeship Program.
Gotcha.
And, I had a couple of crappier jobs, in between.
You worked in broadcasting.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's right.
that's
Yeah.
pretty crappy.
Yeah, so I went in and...
Were you a local guy?
Yeah,
Okay.
I
What
grew
high
up in
school?
Syracuse. I graduated from Henniger High. I went
Okay,
to
yeah,
Lemoyne,
tough stuff.
Grant, and Henniger.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. So, I got into the 5-year program, and it's really a earn while you learn scenario.
Nice.
I'm not sure how familiar you are with the apprenticeship programs, but so you work for one of the employers on the daytime. You go to the construction site that you're assigned to.
Sure.
Work for the employer, and then 2 nights a week we have to go to school. It used to be 5 to 9 p.m.
Wow.
back in the day, and you do that for 5 years.
Oh, golly. Yeah, that's a long time.
You must be really smart when that's over with.
No, we're really tired. One or the other.
Well, I was an apprentice electrician. I quit school for a while, and because my grandfather, being full Italian, he came over from Italy, and he was in the electrical trades. And I always wanted to do that, but I also wanted to be in broadcasting. So to my parents' chagrin, I left college, and I said, I'm going to go, be an electrician. So I teamed up with Jerry Petruno. Did you know Petruno
From
Electric?
Petruno Electric. Yeah, I know
Dave
who they
Petruno,
are. Yep.
Yeah, so I was an apprentice there. And let me tell you something. I learned really quickly it's too difficult for me.
Oh, wow.
It's very hard. This is not easy work. But once you get involved and you do well, you can do well financially and, educationally and all that. So it seems like what are the steam fitters? What do they do?
So
Pipes
yeah,
and steams.
pipe fitters and steam fitters, besides, boilers and chillers, they provide a lot of the process piping and manufacturing.
Okay.
For instance, like brewing, there's miles and miles of stainless steel piping. It's
golly.
Yeah, and depending on the client or the project, it's actually a very high degree of specialization required to do it.
So the apprenticeship program, does that exist in all the trades locally?
It does.
So explain the trades that folks could be, if they were looking, or they had a son or a daughter or a grandchild that was like looking to become a tradesman, what's out there? What could they do?
Oh, there's so many opportunities, starting, in the front end of a construction project with the site work, the operating engineers, and then the structural crew comes in, and that's like the iron workers, the carpenters, the laborers are doing all the concrete forming and pouring and all of that to get the shell up. And then the shell is built and the roofers come in, of course. If it has elevators, the elevators are going in, the electrical services, the plumbing services, and even the fire protection.
But the system that you went through where you were an apprentice, does that still exist?
It does.
Explain it
does.
to folks. Yeah.
So, like I stated, that little catchphrase, it's the earn while you learn type model.
Yeah.
What it is the interview process, regardless of what trade or craft you're interested in, it actually starts with a simple application. You apply and ask to be considered. You go through an interview process, and it's a sponsored apprenticeship program by the New York State Department of Labor. So if you get accepted into the program, you're actually indentured for the period of time of your apprenticeship.
It's almost like getting into the military there.
Right. Or the
very
nursing
similar.
schools that pay for that, and then folks become
Do you
nurses.
get benefits and everything? State benefits?
You do. We don't get state benefits because we're actually, most of our book of business is actually private industry. There is a public component to it, but yeah, we all provide levels of benefit, health insurance, retirement funds, training opportunities that continue throughout your career.
So this isn't just plumbers and steam fitters. This would be electricians and carpenters and, other
everybody,
trades, right?
all the
Yeah,
skilled
exactly.
trades.
All of the above. Skilled trades, yes.
Can you make an average living, above average living, working in the trades today? In other words, it's not just they talk about people swinging a hammer or being a plumber or something like that, and you just live to a certain level and you got just a small cape and that's all you can afford. That's not necessarily the case, right? I mean, you can make above average.
Oh, yeah. This industry, it really is proportionate to the effort that you put into it.
Okay.
If you're willing to step up and get educated on a lot of the newer techniques and methods using the materials that are being developed.
Right.
You can make a very good living in Central New York.
Master electrician, master plumber, you can make six figures, right?
Oh, easily. Yeah. The average member makes six figures between wage and benefits, between the retirements and the health benefit.
Micron's coming. Did that change the game at all?
I've heard of that.
Is that a game changer for you?
Yeah. Micron is that's an opportunity that's coming to our community that really hasn't been here since post-World War II.
Right.
It really has. We live in a community that for decades has been slowly decimated.
Yes.
One factory at a time or any of that. And Micron is actually a true fit for Central New York because of the generational manufacturing and the blue collar workforce that we have here.
Right. Well, and of course, things are going to have to be constructed. New restaurants, new buildings, new housing has to be, so there's going to be room for everybody.
Tom, you're spot on because everybody's focusing on the $100 billion, the 20-year commitment that Micron had pledged there. But that 100, it's huge. That's a very large amount of money in a capital investment.
Sure.
But what we as a community are not looking at yet, there are sectors looking at it as growth opportunity. But that spin up that's going to come to supply Micron, whether it's materials or services. And we're also going to have tens of thousands of people in our community that now have viable money again, where they're going to want.
Right. So what I hear saying, I think, is that people can get trained through the trades.
The trades.
And now's the time because this thing's coming. And we haven't seen it in forever. So how do they get involved? How do we tell folks to get involved, to get in the training process? Where do they go? Who do they contact? How's that work?
Well, if you live in the city of Syracuse, there is a Pathways to Prosperity program that's there, and that's for underserved and underrepresented members of our community. Mm-hmm. It's a program that's a few years old that's already graduated a few classes. The Building Trades Council, we got with a lot of the community partners, and that was with the anticipation to go to work on the replacement of I-81.
Right. So what if they're not there? Briefly, how do they get involved? CNNYBCTC.org. Did I say it right? CNNYBTC.org. There's jobs. There's they can get information and get engaged there, right?
Yes.
They sure can.
Everybody but Steve, because he can't even swing a hammer properly.
It's true. It's true.
Well, look, hey, Greg, we could have you on again because this is very interesting stuff. Greg Lancet right there, president of the Central Northern New York Building and Construction Trades Council. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right. Have a great rest of the day. Coming up next, we're going to talk with Charlie Van Patten. He's the owner of Mattress Makers right here on The Local Show on 570 WSYR.
Welcome back to The Local Show, a service of Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Gettys Federal Savings and Loan. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show, locally produced by Zoe Advertising. Now, here are your hosts, Tom and Steve.
We're back, folks. Fire up the Christmas tree. Grab yourself a hot mulled cider.
Fire up the Christmas tree, Tom. That brings all kinds of. I don't know what that. They used to burn candles on trees. Remember that?
Yeah, that's tough.
Talk about a way to burn the house down.
I know. Good golly. Yeah. Well, they also used to smoke cigars in bed. So there's lots of things we did in the past that might not be good. but we don't have to change all the traditions, do we?
Nope. So fire up the Christmas tree.
So fire up that Christmas tree with lights. We're broadcasting from the Zoe Advertising Studio, sponsored by Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Gettys Federal Savings and Loan. We're also on YouTube, folks. Go check that out. If you go on YouTube and look up Zoe Advertising, you'll see all the video content of everything that we do. So if you like the sound of our voices and you can stomach that, boy, you're going to be in for a big treat.
New subscribers every week, Tom. People
you can subscribe to the channel.
Yeah, they're doing it, and they're able to see. Yes, they can hear the guests, but they can see them and get to know them a little better.
It's kind of cool.
It is kind of cool.
Little environment that we have over here. Right now, we're going to interview Charlie Van Patten. He's the owner of Mattress Makers, MattressMakersSyracuse.com. How are you, Charlie?
Very good. Merry Christmas, guys.
Merry Christmas. You've been around since they've been putting candles on Christmas trees.
Absolutely.
That was mean, Tom.
Well, it just shows he's been around.
Might be true,
time.
but it's still mean.
Well, my father said they used to collect in the living room, and the father would light the candles, and they all had to stay right there.
Oh, yeah. Fun.
Imagine me, Tom, as a kid with a lit Christmas tree.
No, that's not good.
Yeah.
Charlie probably had a dressing gown. You don't still have a dressing gown when you go to bed or anything. Okay. Nothing.
No.
You don't look like Clarence the angel. I had an experience over at your place, Mattress Makers, on what is that road again?
Bridge Street,
It's
Tom.
Bridge Street.
Behind Henry Wilson
Henry
Jewelers.
Wilson Jewelers. Very easy to find, actually. Very easy. And I went in there. I got 2 mattresses, Charlie. Well, you probably made them.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, that's and your daughter, is it Susan or Susan? Yeah, okay.
Susan, yeah.
And Susan helped us. She was very patient. My daughter, and this is not a lie, or not an exaggeration. Of course, I don't lie. It's not an exaggeration. My daughter rolled around on like 4 or 5 beds, and she picked out the most expensive. I said, "What are you doing? You can't just
Kids have good taste, Tom.
But it was nice.
Well, you say it's expensive, but when you go to some of these stores and they give you prices $6,000, $7,000, $8,000.
Yeah, it wasn't
crazy.
that. And you know what? They were done quickly. Your people came over, and I mean, it was like lickety split. She had called me and she said, "Hey, those mattresses are here." Well, they were in and out. It must have been 20 minutes for 2 mattresses up in the rooms, upstairs, out, old mattresses out, and all done.
Yeah, the boys are very good. Very good.
So great experience that I had personally.
Excellent.
So that's it. That's all I have to say. Go ahead,
Is
Charlie.
that it?
Well, speaking of experiences, if you buy electronics and it says it's a 1-year warranty, right?
Yes.
You buy a hot water heater and on the thing it says 8 years, yeah. And you buy a car, it's 100,000 miles. Well, why is it? Because that's what they scientifically figure out, that at that point something might happen,
right?
And they're not going to pay for it.
I feel a transition to mattresses, Tom. Go ahead, Charlie. I'm feeling it coming. It's coming. Here we go. So
somebody goes on the radio and says, "I've got this fantastic mattress, best mattress in the world." And you know the best part? It's got a 25-year warranty. Wait a minute. You know something? Nationally, average mattress life is 6 to 7 years.
Oh, okay.
Hotels, Steve will like this, is 2 to 5 years. The other day, Steve said, "Well, I like mattresses in the hotel." Well, no wonder, because they're brand new.
Yeah, they'd have to
3
keep
years,
replacing them. Yeah,
you get a new one.
He took out the "you idiot" part. Just to be clear.
But guess what? In Syracuse, well, on the internet, they'll tell you that a latex mattress is the longest lasting. It'll last 12 to 15 years. They're wrong. There's 2 mattresses. There's the latex and there's the archetype. But there's only one place you can get them. Mattress Makers.
Okay.
The archetype will last 12 to 15 years. You have a selection of 4 different models. Excellent mattress, very durable. But now getting back to that 25-year warranty.
Right.
Guess what? Smoke and mirrors.
He's not buying it.
Right.
He's not buying it.
If you have a problem with part of it the first year, you actually have to pay the freight.
Oh, good.
And then it's prorated. It jumps to 50% of replacement costs immediately within a few years. And then it adds 5% a year to what you have to pay for that warranty. And by the time you get, I figured it out, by the time you get to year 22, you got to pay 100% of what you paid to get service on that warranty.
I think the last time we were talking, I think we forgot to mention, yes, they make them. They're the only one in Syracuse, Tom. They do all these things, but they're still like half the price of what you would pay at a furniture store or
Right.
one of these bed shops that are all over the place.
Definitely.
Plus, when you go to buy a mattress, you get a mattress. Do you get any special sales? Do I get all kinds of extra stuff? You buy a mattress, get a mattress, pay for a mattress and you are adamant. We've talked about this, that it's half or less.
Absolutely.
He gets a little fiery there, Tom.
Yeah, you see the battle of the television sets. Everybody's giving away television sets.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah. Yep. So
That's crazy.
I was thinking, Christmas gifts. I mean, couples, right, Tom?
Yeah.
We're like, okay, well, we'll get something. We'll do something together. I mean, mattress, you sleep on it every night. It would make a nice house.
Well, it really does, and what a difference a good mattress makes. How long should you keep the mattress for? I mean, you don't have to keep them 10 years.
No, I mean, a regular conventional mattress, 5 to 7 years, 6 to 7 years.
Yeah,
But
depending on your bathing habits.
And if the whole flip thing,
but ours are all two-sided, so you can get a little longer out of it than that.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
And once again, you don't want to. No matter what you do, skin comes off you, right? That's we're all losing skin.
We're going to talk skin stuff.
And we're talking bed. The what do you call those? The
Dust
mites,
mites.
the dust
Yeah.
mites. Yeah,
Well,
that happens no matter what.
Believe it or not, it doubles the weight of the mattress.
Right.
Okay, that's disgusting too.
It is.
What the heck?
So why not buy something affordable? Now, does that? Tell me about organic mattresses. A lot of people get crazy with organic. Is there really something to it?
Yeah, because, conventional mattresses are made typically with foam. Mm-hmm. Foam is a petrochemical. There's off-gassing. And, I have to laugh at the Certipure. Oh, we got Certipure foam. Well, yeah, Certipure foam is soy-based. And I asked the manufacturer one day, well, what percentage is soy-based? He says, well, it depends on how much it costs today. Anywhere from 8 to 12%.
Oh, that's it. Yeah, that's not a lot.
So what exactly is off-gassing? Because I'm imagining people are filling in. What is off-gassing?
It's what Steve does in the studio most of the time. I'll tell you what.
When you buy a new car and the windows all coated with chemical film. Yeah, right. Sure. Film. Okay, you got it. I'm being a Tom.
So
now.
it's a smell from the chemical? What is it?
No, you don't smell it.
Yeah, it could just be
It's just
invisible gas.
Invisible gas.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Usually you realize it's off-gassing when you're laying on the floor going, this must be off-gassing.
So not too late to get mattresses for Christmas?
No, and the organics are not expensive. I mean, we've got competition up the street that are selling $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 mattress for less than that. You can get an organic mattress. Wow. So why not at least get a clean, pure mattress that you can sleep on and not be sucking in the fumes?
Yeah, well,
made by Charlie.
Made by
me
and the team there.
Merry Christmas! I'll tell you
Kitty corner
what.
from Uncle Sam's, Tom.
Yes.
I know I like to say that, don't I? On Birch Street.
Organic latex and archetype, organic inner springs, all at Sleep Master, mattress makers.
So Sleep Master was the old name. And
Right.
that was
fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
And then there's the one up on Route 11.
Syracuse.
Right
North
across from
Syracuse.
Chick-fil-A.
Or across from Chick-fil-A. So there you go.
You got it.
Charlie, thank you so much. Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas to you guys.
All right. Natasha Schmidt is coming up next, folks. Don't go anywhere. She's the co-owner of Rubberstone, New York, right here on the local show on 570 WSYR and 106.9 FM.
Welcome back to The Local Show, a service of Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show, locally produced by Zoe Advertising. Now, here are your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Sliding back into The Local Show. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Have you done your sledding this year, Steve?
I don't know if it's a good idea to sled anymore, Tom. I don't know. What's worse, walking up the hill or going down and breaking a bone? Pick one.
Gosh, I don't know if I can walk up the hill anymore. Golly. Of course, I'm one of those people who, when I go out into the driveway, I think, is this the last day I'll be walking on this driveway?
Yeah.
Am I going to slip, break a hip, and then I'm done for the...
I don't think any of those things.
No.
Granted, I probably will slip, but that's not what I'm thinking.
Yes. Well, I'm a catastrophizer, so,
Yeah.
I'm good at that.
Yeah. No, I don't think sledding is in my
No.
future here. I don't know.
Yeah, that's too much work. I wouldn't mind hopping on a snowmobile. But there again,
You'd
that's
probably
a lot
run
of
into a
work,
piece
too.
of barbed wire to cut your head off. I got it. Yeah. So, always think the best.
Those things happen. Yeah. Maybe just a stroll. Maybe we should stroll.
You'll get attacked by a moose while sledding or something.
Horse-drawn carriage, maybe?
Yeah, but then the horse will run away. You'll fall off and break your neck. Yeah,
something. I'd probably get one of those horses that passes gas all the time.
that would be
That
all
no
horses.
fun.
That'd be every horse stop.
That's true. Well, here's a horse of a different color. Let's talk with Natasha Schmidt. She's the co-owner of Rubberstone, New York. How are you there, Natasha?
I'm very well. Thank you for that colorful intro.
Yeah.
That was great.
Isn't that fun? Do you have lots of family traditions? You got young kids, right? How old are your kids then?
The youngest is 8, and then the oldest is 13. So.
Yeah, that's fun. This is a
Yeah.
fun time.
Yeah, I mean, we're still in the mix of what's magic, right?
Yeah.
So that keeps the fun parts of the season around, and also the stressful parts. But
Right.
Well, you're also in the gift giving that costs, a normal amount of money. You don't have to get crazy. You can get a bunch of little things and
the
they're
Dollar
happy.
Tree still works
Yeah,
great.
right. Yeah, stuff like that.
It's the $1.25 tree,
I know,
just to be clear.
inflation.
Yeah, Nicholas wanted a lens that's more than his camera, Steve. I'm like, are you kidding?
That's why I love that kid.
Lenses are just...
That's why I love that kid.
and his birthday and Christmas are, weeks apart, just a week
So
apart.
you only have to pick one, right?
Yeah, right. That's what I said. And then our other daughter, she's in Christmas. Everything's Christmas. So, Natasha, tell people what Rubberstone is. I mean, a lot of people have heard you, but there may be some people that are just, straggling behind.
Tapping in for the first time.
Yeah, right. You never know.
Sure. So Rubberstone is a safe decorative overlay system. It's made out of synthetic and recycled rubber. Goes right over your existing surface. It's made to extend the longevity of what we're covering, give you something that's safe and decorative and long lasting. It's made for UV exposure and salt exposure, so it's really a product that's great and designed for what we see here in central New York.
Yeah.
And it goes over what?
It goes over concrete, asphalt, wood, and paving stones.
for
We can
that.
all say it together, right?
That's good. How did the Parade of Homes work out for you?
The Parade of Homes is always great. It's
Yeah.
one of our favorite events because the home shows are good. A lot of people come in, but at the parade, you really get an opportunity to see it in its context. What it's made to be used for, and the color options are there, and you get to walk on it and touch it and smell it and
Sure, the whole
taste
everything.
it. Maybe
Let's not taste it.
I'd like to bring Steve out for a tasting.
yeah.
Tasting of Rubberstone.
That's wonderful. And the home show is going to go on in spring. Do we know
It
that?
is.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
think when we
it's
talked
usually
with
like
Mary-
the third week in March.
Yeah.
right around St. Patrick's Day there.
You guys
But
will be
yep.
involved with that
Oh yeah,
as well.
Yeah,
That's one of your
we'll be
favorite
there.
things, right? Because you're there, you get to talk to people. Where the Parade of Homes is a little more passive.
It is a bit, yeah. That's the big difference between the two. The parade's great to see it in its context, but if you want to get to know us as a company, because we are smaller and family owned and operated, the home show is the best place to do it, to stop in and say hi. And I like it the best because we have a lot of clients that come through just to say hi. They're there for other reasons, but they always stop and say hi, and that's nice because after 9 years of being in the business, it's cool to see people back from
Right.
year 1 and year 2 that are still satisfied and can tell somebody standing beside me that they like it.
Isn't it true that covering your basement with Rubberstone is the perfect Christmas gift?
Absolutely. I can't even think of a better gift.
You can do that all winter, though, correct?
Yep. Yeah. There's that's always on the table. We can always do basements. We also do a lot of entryways and mudrooms.
Yeah, that's
so
nice, too.
that's a big remodel that happens this time of year in homes. So instead of using like a tile or a laminate or some sort
Right.
of floor like that, you can just get a seamless Sierra stone or rubber stone install, and then you don't have to
And
worry
let's
about
put that in perspective for people, because
Yeah.
I've laid a few vinyl floors, luxury vinyl tile in my day.
Mm-hmm.
And that can get quite expensive. So for a standard mud room, you could be doing $500, $600, $700, $800, and rubber stone around the same.
It's going to be a little bit more, but it's because there's a faster turnaround. There's a 20-year warranty, and we're
Right,
not
a
dealing
lot
with
different.
popping, lifting, cracking of your tiles in the long term.
Cutting
Once
around the pipes and
Yep.
the drains.
So
and
once it's
all-
down, and
Yeah.
it's seamless. It's uniform. It's decorative and very unique. You know, and we don't have to worry about a water exposure, salt exposure on the floor. You're just going to basically run a rug doctor over top of it once a year and call it done.
Well, and if someone was dreaming of a summertime experience, they have to dream now, Tom.
Yes,
because
they do.
go all the way.
For a little
and
while.
they have a built-in pool. This can go around that and doesn't burn the toesies, right?
That's right. It's much cooler than the concrete. So it's decorative and it's much cooler, regardless of which colors you choose. It's all rubber, so it's all equally as cool. So I think that's one thing that's important to note. And we can do designs. We do borders, inlays.
Logos.
There's no, exactly.
family crests.
No, I saw some. You, at one of the
Kissing
Parade of Homes.
dolphins.
Oh, that's kind of
In
cool.
one of the Parade of Homes, you had some logo on something, didn't you?
We did a basement that didn't have a logo. I'm sorry.
I
That
saw
was
a
just
logo
SU
somewhere.
colors.
Oh, yeah.
Where did we do?
Somewhere. Maybe I'm thinking the SU colors. Maybe because it was like an SU.
It could be on
It was
their
an
website.
SU room,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, but if you look us up on Facebook or even on our website,
Right.
you can see some of the just more simplistic.
So if I had a
Sure.
picture of
Done.
Tom, could you make a mural of Tom on a rubber stone floor?
I mean, that's yes.
Hey, a lot of ladies out there might want that. Right next to the
Got a good
Elvis.
resale
So
value
they
on
can
it.
walk on your face.
You know, I do have the rubber stone out there on our walkway, and just so folks know, this is practical stuff right here. And when it froze up just over the past few days, you know, we had ice and things like that. When the sun hits it, if I just sprinkle a little salt out on there, it goes right away. And there's no slip. When it's just wet, you don't feel like you're going to fall when you're bringing in the groceries. So, you know, folks, I can't say enough about that. If you need to redo your front walkway, you know, consider rubber stone.
Yeah,
What do you do with the
absolutely.
salt? Is that going to hurt it?
You just pressure wash it off in the spring if it's significant. I mean, for your walkway, you
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
run a hose across
Yeah,
it.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I've used the power sprayer too when I'm doing the house.
Right, but that's why
It
you're
works
out there
nice.
already
Okay.
doing it. Just spray it off. But yeah, it doesn't damage it. We just want to eliminate any long-term potential staining with the salt because I mean, salt is salt.
Can people still, if they call you now, can they get on the spring schedule?
Yeah, call, text, or email. I'm still in the office. I can answer questions. We do a lot of virtual or over the phone consultations this time of year.
Good.
But if you want something in home, absolutely, I can help you out with that.
Excellent. That's Natasha Schmidt right there, co-owner of Rubberstone New York. They can be seen at rubberstoneny.com. You have a great Christmas, okay?
Thanks. You do the same.
All right. Coming up next, we're going to talk with Dr. Tina Chi. She is the owner of Up Design Primary Care right here on 570 WSYR.
Welcome back to The Local Show, a service of Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Gettys Federal Savings and Loan. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show, locally produced by Zoe Advertising. Now, here are your hosts, Tom and Steve.
All right, we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us. It's the Tom and Steve holiday show called The Local Show, and we champion local business and local organizations, everything local, and we hope you're doing your fair share of purchasing around here locally. I think everybody's pretty fired up about Micron, so they're feeling maybe more of a local resurgence of, like, what do you want to call it, excitement.
The economy?
Yeah, and the economy around here, our local economy.
People that have been around a long time. GE had, 20 or 25,000?
Right. Carrier,
Yep. Yeah, that many or more.
Kraus-Heinz was really
General
fired up.
Motors.
Yeah.
I mean, there was hundreds of thousands
New process
of people
gear.
exactly, in manufacturing. And you can go around Carrier Circle now, and not get in an accident because there's just not much traffic there.
Not even go bumper to bumper.
This thing's going to be apparently amazing for the community and solve a problem because there's a chip shortage. Tom.
Yes, that's right. So maybe we could solve some issues.
You never know.
I know that Safe Harbor Wills and Trust does solve a lot for people. They allow folks to stay in their home a lot longer and also, not have to pay out all this money when they go into
They're just losing.
nursing home care.
So many people.
Yeah.
They say, well, we can't do anything now, but they can.
Right.
And long-term care affects 70% of the people, Tom.
Right.
End up in some kind of long-term care.
Absolutely.
At $15,000 a month.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And insurance doesn't most of the time doesn't cover that unless you've spent a lot over the last 50 years on that kind of insurance.
Right.
But they'll protect things, put your home in a trust, do things that make a difference. Even if someone's going to go into long-term care or is there already, they can still help. And every week they help people do it. They even teach other attorneys to do this stuff.
Yeah, sure.
But if you haven't made a plan, make a plan. SafeHarborWillsandTrust.com, Tom.
Very nice. It's our pleasure to have back in the chair Dr. Tina Chi. She is the owner of Up Design Primary Care, and it's good to have you back, Doctor. How are you?
Thank you. I'm good.
Good. And last time we spoke, you were just moving into your practice and all that and doing some personal practice stuff, and you've picked up probably some new patients, one of them being Steve over here, right? And that didn't put you out of business. You still come to work.
It didn't. Well, I'll jump in, Tom. My doctor of a long time was stepping away from the practice and doing some other things, so I needed to find someone. And even there before, I would have to wait months to get an appointment.
Yeah. Sure.
And then even weeks to get someone that's in that office. Mm-hmm. So I find myself going to urgent care things. And last time Dr. Chi was on the show, I'm like, you know what? Maybe this makes more sense. And it did, to have somebody that's at my beck and call. No, that's not it, is it? Tell us about your practice, Dr. Chi.
Well, I mean, pretty much it is a concierge level service that I offer, where patients can call me directly and then be able to get an appointment, pretty soon. I think you called me and I saw you like within, later that week.
Yeah, exactly.
And so, and the other benefit is to really have enough time with me. A lot of times you wait 2 months for that appointment and then you end up being, waiting in the waiting area for like a good, 30 minutes. I've heard stories where people waited
30?
like 2 hours.
30, that would have been great.
Yeah,
Exactly,
I've waited an awful long time.
And then you
Gosh.
finally get in with the doctor and then you only get like 10 minutes. And then it's like, oh, did they really even talk to me? Like, did I get all my points across? Did they even look at the chart completely?
Or you get a PA at first, and then the doctor comes in for like 5 minutes and then says, see ya.
It's a frustrating experience in the insurance world. And the part of that is because of all these other pressures. We're basically documenting in the insurance world to be able to, get that payment back because of the third parties. And so in this practice, it's direct primary care. So the doctors and patients, deal with each other. And so I work for you and so you really get a different level of service. You're able to spend like 30 minutes, 60 minutes with me and really get through all of the issues and concerns, and
Does that mean you don't have any nurses that work for you in your practice?
at this time not, but there,
would eventually?
Potentially, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, just because, it does help for you to be able to have them give a mundane flu shot or something, right? Because that's easy enough and you can go on and see another patient.
But she can give the mundane flu shot and maybe learn something along the way.
Well, of course, what she's talking. True. Yeah, get to know the patient, and all that stuff. And by the way, your doctor didn't step away from the practice. They stepped away from you. The practice is still going strong.
Okay.
There was just a little inside.
Maybe. After 25 years, But it is different because I constantly hear people complain about their experience.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? And so this is a new model. Is this type of business practice model been around a long time, or is it pretty, it feels new?
Yeah, so it's been growing around the nation. I would say, so I think more and more doctors are seeing that, it's not sustainable, right? Medicare is doing another 4% cut, which with inflation is like amounting to 23% cut. And so it's, versus, everyone, all the small businesses have to raise prices on everything. And yet, healthcare somehow is the exception. And so, to have a sustainable business, I think, doctors are thinking of how can we do things differently, be innovative, be able to take care of patients that we wanted to when we applied to medical school,
Yeah.
So what if someone has insurance? What do they do then?
So you can still have insurance, my services does not mean that it's not insurance. And so the insurance is still there in case you need to go to the hospital, in case you need other care, imaging or other specialists. So it's there for you as that safety net. But basic primary care where we take care of you and all of that stuff, that doesn't need to go through insurance, and we can actually do it more affordably and cheaper and provide better care.
Can people get financing for your services? Like what,
It's not that expensive.
It isn't. Okay.
Yeah, we're talking $90 to like $115 per month. That's like the price of like, a yoga
That's
membership.
like, yeah, right. But really, that's like a co-payment.
Yeah, right.
Okay,
Yeah,
if you go to an urgent care, I mean, that's like a co-payment.
Sure,
When you
that makes
think
sense.
about it, it isn't. I found it very affordable for what you get.
Well, yeah,
Still $100
you're
but
rich. We understand that.
But it's for what you get.
Yeah, no, that's true.
I
hear you. How long have you been practicing?
So I've been attending for about 5 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
And and how much medical school? So all told, what do we got? 10, 15 years in the business, or?
Well, I wouldn't include medical school, but if you're including medical school, so medical school's 4 years, then 3 years residency, then 5 years. So,
okay, gotcha.
Don't make Tom add those up. He can't.
No, I can't. I can do basic math. It's Boolean algebra gets me. Then I get.
And by the way, if Tom was a patient, you would stop.
Yeah, okay,
practicing.
sure. So, just really quickly, you've been around long enough, and of course through the COVID thing. Do you think that all the COVID stuff and the politics involved with all that has shaken people's faith in doctors? I've heard people say, I don't trust my doctor anymore. Have you got that vibe in your young career?
Yes, and I think that's the unfortunate effect of us having only 10 minutes with people.
Yeah.
Because then we can't take the time to really delve into the concerns. Like there's always something else going on, right? Some other fear or concern or worry that people have.
Right.
And so that just takes time to get into.
Okay.
So of course, yeah.
So if people want to reach out to you, the 256-0490 phone number, is that
That's
a good
correct.
number? Okay, so the big one, area code, 315.
Yes,
256-0490, updesignprimarycare.com. updesignprimarycare.com. Is that right?
Yes.
There you go. And ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Chi would love to see you if she's not busy with Steve. That is. All right. Have a great rest of the day, okay? All right. Coming up, hey, Steve, we're done with the show.
It's
I just
over,
want
Tom.
you to know that.
Time to what is it, set the tree on fire or whatever you said?
Fire up the
Fire
tree.
up the tree.
You go wrap some presents. That'd be nice for you. On behalf of the local show and Tom and Steve, God bless you and your families. Get some physical activity every day and help out somebody less fortunate than yourself. The local show is heard every Saturday morning from 11 to 1 and then again on Sunday morning from 7 to 9. Listen together with a friend because it's more fun that way. Until next week, get down to business. And tell your friends about the local show right here on 570 WSYR, 106.9 FM, and of course on YouTube.